Okay, I'll start recording. Mm,
Perfect.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Do you have the template pulled up?
Yeah, I have it in another page.
If you want, I can type it up while you lead out, or I don't know how you guys did it last week.
Pretty much like that.
Well, it just depends on the leader. Whoever leads for the week, I guess we'll just type everything out, copy and paste
Okay.
the example.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Great.
Okay, so what was your example, Angel?
Yeah, I just had it. Overall topic, give an example that demonstrates when a minor is liable for a contract and when a minor is not liable. And so for my liable one, it's pretty straightforward. There's a minor, stays in their apartment for 7 months and ends up wanting to have an independence party for being by themselves. Ends up requesting food from the landlord, and the landlord basically gives them the food. And so that was just an example of the necessaries part where the minor basically kind of has to be liable for that just because of the request that he did. And then for my not liable to contract part, it's pretty much the teen or minor found work, but he's not liable to the contract because of being underage. And all the details are right there.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yeah.
How do I minimize this so I can open up mine?
Is there a way that I can show your guys' screens?
We could share ours, but I'll just read mine to you if that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
If I can minimize, your screen is all over my screen now. I want it to not be that way.
So you have to exit the full screen.
Do I have to, or does he have to?
You have to, Brian.
There we go.
You have to
There we
exit
go.
the full screen.
I got it, guys. I got it. All right.
We're all learning with the Zoom stuff.
Okay. So I said a minor is liable for a contract when they are employed at a place of business. So like when you're an employee, you sign a contract, and I said that the minor is liable for the contract, like when they're working. So because I had to sign a contract when I worked at a horse trail guide place. I was 17 years old. The contract, I still had to sign a contract, and it was. And then my example of a contract when a minor is not liable would be if a young woman who was 17 at the time of her marriage signed a prenuptial agreement, but she falsified her age, and so her husband at the time believed she was 18, but because she was 17, the contract is not valid, and the woman is not responsible.
You've been watching Liar Liar.
That's exactly what it was from. I read it, I was like, oh, booyah, perfect. So
Forgot I was on mute. Man.
I was hoping, I was like, is someone going to recognize the example?
Oh, yeah. I do have a question on your first example, though, because I don't believe that's correct from what I read. Yes, you can sign a contract, but if you're still 17 and you decide to renege on what you signed, you're not liable in court for that. After you're 18, and you still have the same job, then they can have you liable. But from what I read, I don't think as a 17-year-old, if they walk away from the job, they're not going to get penalized for that.
I mean, that makes sense. But I felt like as a 17-year-old, I was pretty scared of that contract.
Yeah. I mean, I think any decent person would, but I think legally, though, if it's not a necessity of life, like food, shelter, and I think I can't remember what page it was on. Sorry.
Well, and they said something about like a car under certain circumstances could be declared as one.
Yeah, if it's a necessity for life, if they need to have it for whatever reason, yeah.
Well, okay, but a job, like perhaps I had no family and I was all alone. So a job would be a necessity of life.
I'm just, I mean, I guess you can take it whichever way, and a judge could take it whichever way. That didn't seem to me like a necessity of life when I was reading through the material. That's all.
I think you are making a very fair statement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll do mine now. Let's see. For my example of a minor not liable on a contract is a student that was able to graduate high school early and goes to college at the age of 17. They sign a rental agreement, and this is considered a necessity for life and cannot be voided by the minor without breach of contract. An example when a minor is not liable on a contract would be an elementary age child that signs up for a library card. If this child fails to return the book or videos borrowed that card, or are late in returning them, they are not liable to pay for the associated fees. Rather, the parents or legal guardian are required to pay. Those are my examples.
So if a minor enters into a contract, does the liability fall on the parents? So a minor can't enter a contract for himself, but he can enter into a contract for his parents?
It's for himself, I think, but it's not where the liability is going to be with the parents. Like if he skips town and nobody can find him or whatever, if they're an adult, they're not going to necessarily come after parents for that, or legally they can't. But I think for a minor, they.
I know that's exactly what would happen and go to the parents to get the money or the income, but I didn't know if hold up in court if the parents wanted to fight it, because the minor shouldn't be able to enter into a contract of any kind.
Yeah, for the library card one, that's definitely from experience, because I have kids that are returning their books, and so they racked up some fees that I didn't even know about, and then I get this letter saying that they're going to send me to collections. I'm like, okay, let's get this figured out. But that's just my experience.
Okay. So my examples was for being liable. A 13-year-old boy approaches his neighbor to mow his lawn for the summer for $20 a mowing. The neighbor agrees to the offer from the boy. The boy is liable for that contract. And my one that he's not, a 16-year-old girl is looking at used cars on the car lot. The salesperson sells her a vehicle. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got me wondering if mine that he's liable for is really liable, because it is kind of a job. But I thought I remembered reading somewhere that would.
Well, that was a thing for me. I was trying to look a lot of different places to figure out where the liability would be, and it seemed like I could find a lot of things where they weren't liable for whatever.
Yeah.
Very hard to find something that they were actually liable for.
Yeah. So I guess we've got to look at what forms a contract. There has to be capacity of the parties, mutual agreement, consideration, and legality.
I can't remember where it was. There was one part where if they had a job and they signed a contract for that, or any kind of contract like it, or they applied for a loan and got a loan and at 17 or whatever, and then they could void that and not be liable for it if they were not 18, but if they started it at 17, were making regular payments, then like at 18 and a half, if they had continued making payments, they weren't able to void it at that time, but it was some weird.
Yeah, I could read it if you want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the example is contract for necessaries, and so word for word, it says if a 17-year-old enters into a 6-month lease agreement at an exorbitant rental of $1,000 per month, and if she occupies the premises for 3 months, she would be responsible for the 3 months of actual usage, but at a reasonable rental. So it's just the amount that she occupied. The lease doesn't really matter just because she is a minor.
Find where I got that.
So it just seems like whatever the minor uses, that's what they have to give back, whether that be clothing, food, or shelter. And so going with what Brian was saying with his contract and also just his word, although Brian seems like a really dedicated person, like no matter what he says, that's what he'll do. Not everyone's gonna be like that, especially being a minor, and they might not even understand the contract in the first place. And so if a minor wanted to just bail or void, he or she's able to do that
without fear of
there's no consequence unless he had asked for something specific from the company he's working for.
So I guess we've got to come up with a question from one of our examples. So
well, we need to select an example first, though, don't we?
Just one.
Sorry, what did you say?
Do we have to have an example of both what they are liable for and what they're not, or do you just have to pick one?
Just one, yeah. So
you don't think we need to put one of each?
Well, if we have more than one, it's just like developing 2 questions, so it's kind of like double the work.
So I think we should choose one that they're not liable for, since that's a lot easier.
Okay. Whose example do you all want to use? I have no preference. I could go with whichever.
Yeah.
And how did I send it last time? Was it through the chat?
Yeah. Well, sorry. That's how I've done it in the past.
Yeah. Because I'll just copy and paste it within the document.
Wait, but aren't you the one doing the template?
Yeah. So I'll copy and paste the text from whatever you guys send me into the document.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and fill out the names and everything right now while we're talking?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Can you see my screen? I thought you could see my screen.
Yeah. Amber, what was your because we're going with the what is not an example, right?
Mine was just a kid getting a library card and breaking up fees.
Okay. I misspelled your name, sorry.
Okay. And Jeff, yours example of not again?
Mine was the 16-year-old girl looking at cars and the salesperson sells her a vehicle.
Okay, I still don't understand how that works, but okay. The whole not liable. I don't get that. But fine.
So let me read something right here. I just found, I don't know, legal.com or whatever. With some exceptions, a contract made by a minor is voidable. The minor, in other words, may avoid the legal liability under a contract. Upon reaching the age of majority, a minor may affirm or ratify the contract and therefore make it contractually binding on him. Any expression of the minor's intention to avoid the contract will accomplish avoidance. So a minor can avoid a contract during his minority status and only for a reasonable time after he reaches the age of majority. After a reasonable period of time, the contract is deemed to be ratified and cannot be avoided. And then it gives an example of Helen. Oh yeah, I read this one. Helen, age 17, wanted to buy a motorcycle. She did not have the money to pay cash, but persuaded the dealer to sell her cycle to her on credit. The dealer did so partly because Helen said that she was 22. Well, that's not a good example when she's lying about her age.
Watching the game?
Oh, sorry. Talking with my group.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, roommate.
Hey, roommate. Let's see.
There's some at the
Oh, here's another one that I found. Okay, so this guy Smith buys a car from Ford Company. When he is 17 years old, he finances a car for 5 years, making installment payments each month. Smith reaches his 18th birthday and continues to make payments for 2 months, and then has a wreck. Smith decides that he's going to avoid the contract and get his $10,000 back. However, the fact that Smith reached the age of 18 and continued to make payments on the car and use the car would keep him from being able to avoid the contract. Smith's conduct constituted ratification of the contract. However, many courts refuse to recognize payment as ratification unless further evidence is given as intent to ratify the contract or an understanding by a minor that the payment. Goodness. So yeah, he could have avoided that contract before he was 18, or even after he was 18, and not be liable for it.
So with Jeff's example, with the 16-year-old girl buying a car, so if she stopped making, she could break that contract before she turned 18?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and no consequences?
Nope.
Man, I should have bought a car when I was 16.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
If there is a dealership out there that would do that, then they
Yeah.
deserve
They would probably have somebody co-sign, and then they would be
absolutely
liable. Because it says parents of a minor are not liable regarding the contracts made by the minor merely because they are the parents of the minor. However, if a minor makes a contract and a parent or other adult signs along with the minor as a co-signer, parent or other adult is held liable.
Yeah, so no car company would.
No.
No smart dealership would.
not without the cosign of a parent
Yeah.
or an adult of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Jeff's is straightforward. I think we should do that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
May have to add to it. I mean, it's not a.
I'm sure it's fine. I also can't figure out how to make my camera work, so.
Is there a piece of tape on your camera?
No.
Oh, there's the chat.
Okay, cool. I'll just copy and paste that.
We could even add to it the salesperson puts a year from the purchase date. She decides she doesn't want the car anymore, or decides she can't pay for it anymore. She's liable to keep paying for the car or something like that. And maybe we need to add that there were no cosigners on the sale.
And
Yeah.
can you?
So she signed by herself.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back where the second Second sentence, the salesperson sells instead of sales. No, not that one, the other one.
Oh, sales S
S-E-L-L.
Yes.
Not that one, the other one. There's a second one in that sentence.
Oh, this one.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah, no, you're good. Couldn't you tell I was pointing at my screen?
I'm just like, I don't
This
even
one
know
over
what
here.
screen to look at. I'm like, I'm on the spot with my typing.
No,
16 was looking.
It's stressful when everyone can see what you're
I
typing.
know. I messed up so much.
I spent 5 hours with my computer being shown to my boss and our client, and I was typing everything. Oh my gosh, very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
My typing got better by the end of it, though.
Maybe instead of putting the salesperson sells their vehicle, maybe she purchases Chevy Cobalt or
More detail each. Cobalt.
really anything. I mean, that probably sounds better than the salesperson sells her a vehicle.
I don't know. She sounds like a Volkswagen Beetle kind of girl.
There you go, Volkswagen. They're the in thing right now with the teenagers.
Yeah. I'm kidding. It doesn't matter what it is.
Toyota Corolla. Okay. Car. I could always edit it after. I'll read through it.
I think maybe we should put like a year later she is unable to pay for the car.
Yeah.
There's a time period of from the purchase to the time that she can.
Yeah, just
So you'd want to erase that she's not able to pay for the car.
Okay.
So the question that comes to mind for me is she liable to continue making these payments?
Well,
Or she purchased or something like that.
okay.
Payments.
I don't know. What do you guys think for a question?
I think that works because I think that we can put in some wrong answers with that kind of explain it some more too. So I think that's good.
So the correct answer is no.
No, as a minor, she's not liable because she's 17 at the time.
Typing as fast as I ever have in front of people.
correct answer feedback. She as long as she's correct answer feedback, she's not liable as long as she stops before she's 18.
Yeah.
What was the correct legal term that you read?
It was No, that's parents. Hang on. Ratification or they either affirm or they ratify at 18, but then there's a reasonable amount of time after they turn 18 where they can still void it.
So would it be she's not liable as long as she ratifies the contract before the age of 18?
No, because she can't ratify it until she's 18. Until she's
18. Okay.
No liable as long as she stops. So are we okay with that?
Yeah. Well, as long as she stops paying, but
or as long as she voids the contract before the age of 18.
Voids. I like that. As long as she voids the contract.
okay.
As long as she avoids paying the contract?
No, she can't avoid it. She just has to void it.
Void. So not an A in front of that, just void.
I know that's the mentality of nowadays, to avoid everything, but
Void. Okay.
Voids the contract before she turns 18.
Okay.
yeah, I like that.
I was thinking for wrong answer, we could say no because her parents are, or something like that. Because they're not liable either. Well, no, the wrong answer would be, sorry, I was
No,
explaining.
but her parents are liable?
Huh?
Can you say, but is she liable? So say no, but her parents are. Like that could be an answer.
Yeah, that's
What you're going for?
Yep. Okay. And then the wrong answer feedback would be no, they aren't either because they weren't co-signers on her loan.
No, I was. Yeah, just copy and paste that in the. Oh no, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm done talking.
You know what?
The wrong answer in my mind is yes, because she acted very mature for her age.
She acted mature for her age?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's good. Sounds good to me. 3.
So what's the feedback on that is?
It doesn't matter how mature they are.
Or not, as the case.
Or not mature. Yeah.
Matter how
maturity does not come into play.
Yeah.
What's your okay. This is a funny one.
Hey, Brian, let us have it.
You're from my wrong answer?
For your wrong answer.
I just keep going back to prenuptial agreement, but I can't make it work. I thought I was being clever, guys.
You were.
Yeah, prenup doesn't work with this question.
I know. So reason. Here, can you scroll back up? Let me see the quiz question. Is she liable to continue making these payments? We have a wrong answer. Correct answer is no. The wrong answer is no. So we need a yes. In my mind, yes, she is.
Well, we had a yes because she was mature, and then yes. Why?
Because she is a woman, and it is sexist to not let. I don't know.
Wow.
Uh,
Go that route, huh?
No.
it would be sexist to not have it. No, that's stupid.
I'm just working with your words.
How about just
Not
have it
judging.
simple and say
I'm
yes
working with my
because she
words.
signed
I
the contract?
was just kidding. I'm trying.
Why don't we just have it be yes because she signed the contract, and contracts are binding or whatever?
Oh yeah, that's good. Yes, yeah, because
Simple yet to the point.
yeah. Or it's like in Harry Potter, where if you break the contract, you die.
Yeah, not sure that's like that extreme on this one. But yeah,
Fine. That does happen in Harry Potter, though.
it does. The blood binding or whatever.
I don't remember which Harry Potter, but it happens in one of them.
Don't mention Harry Potter if you can't keep up with.
Okay, wow. I apologize.
Very much a nerd here, so no worries.
Should we say contracts cannot be made between minors?
Well, no, they obviously can, but they're not liable for them because
Contracts are not binding with binders.
Yeah. This is good, yeah.
With what was the last word you said? Sorry.
Minors.
Say that again. Sorry. Okay.
Minors.
Minors. Okay. So I guess that is.
That was the quickest we've come up with 3 wrong answers.
You do have to have the explanation of our example, though.
Okay. Well, so I mean, it's a minor entering into a contract.
Well, we're in the book were you reading, Angel, that it gives that reference.
About the 17-year-old?
Yeah.
Page 131.
Yeah, so maybe we can put in there that they're not liable when it's not a necessity of life or whatever, and then reference that part. I don't have my book with me. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I could go to page 131, but it would be wrong because I'm in the digital.
Got to go out and buy a book now.
I'll
Yes, we can have a conversation.
I'll scan these pages for you.
Yeah.
I paid enough for the ones that I have. I don't need any.
Right?
Wait, so yeah, are you able to search in or no?
I can
The PDF version or the Kindle version? You can search words?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, that's the way to do it.
Right. Should have thought of that before I bought this stupid book.
Did you guys take the test?
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody has. It's closed now if you haven't.
Yeah, well, it closes at 12, pretty much.
Yeah, you can take it today.
Yeah, it hasn't closed
the
yet.
last day. I thought yesterday was the last day.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I actually liked it. I thought it was super helpful. Is it
I
kind of
thought I
crazy?
did better than I did, but it's what it is.
Yeah. Well, you could always do the, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the appeal.
Yeah, the appeals. They'll save you.
Sure.
Well, you automatically get 4 points just by doing the appeal, or from the other that says I'm good with what I got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe I'll do that just to get another 4 points.
Oh, well, you could appeal up to 5 questions, so that could easily be 20, at least 20 points, 20, 25.
Yeah. I wish we could see the answers already, though. I'm not sure I'll have the time to go through it line by line before Friday.
You would have to make really good appeals to get 20 points.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't see that as.
I'll slip in $20.
Guys, you're being pessimistic. You have to think positive.
Yeah.
I can BS with the best of them, but I don't know about that.
Not liable.
Okay.
So it should say, I know it says maybe in parentheses a minor is or minors are not liable. I don't know. No, leave they because you're quoting it. But I just put in parentheses minors.
So like minors.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what President Monson always had when he spoke and quoted stuff.
Quote, open quote, close quote.
Close quote.
What is pit?
If it's not a necessity,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's not necessary. You either have to take the A out or change necessary to necessity.
The bare necessities of life will come to you.
Thanks, Baloo.
Jungle Book.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I can do old movies. I don't know anything about new Harry Potter movies.
That's why we have Amber to correct us.
I'm sorry. I have kids that we watch a lot of things and listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Minors are not liable if not
Mhm.
if it is not a necessity of life. Okay. So then we'll just put the link in. Is that everything?
Yeah, I'll put everything else in. But are you guys okay with all that's written?
Yeah.
Looks good to me.
I like it short and sweet.
All right. So I think I'm gonna have to use my stupid Mac next time, so that everyone can see my pretty face.
Sounds good.
All right, so who's gonna be the group lead next week?
I will.
Okay. Very good.
It's my turn. So
Okay.
Yeah, and then we should probably with the group presentation, is that coming up for us?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Maybe in a week or two, but either way, we'll be fine. Hopefully. You guys okay then? I'm good to leave.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
All right. You too.
Okay, we'll see ya.
Bye.
Thanks.
Sure. Angel, you gonna stop the recording?
Yeah.